Welcome children to the syllabus of class 12th. In the previous session, I have taught you one chapter, that is functions. And I hope that you might have revised it. And also I have given you some of the assignment work to you. I also hope that you might have done that work in a proper way. So till now, whatever you have studied, children, let me tell you in brief that what things you have studied till now. Chapter 1 and 2 are the chapter that belongs to the revision of class 11th that you are supposed to revise by yourself. Chapter number 3 was the function, which I have taught you in the month of May. Now the next chapter after function is your library function, and it's chapter 4, and then chapter 5 is the file handling. But before I begin this chapter 4 and 5, I'll first like to give you a quick revision of whatever you have studied in chapter number 3, that is functions. So before you proceed to the next chapter, chapter 4 and 5, you should be thorough with the previous content, that is chapter number 3 about the functions. I know that you have revised the content in a proper way, but still if some of the students have not revised it, now today for them is a time to just sit and revise the chapter of the functions. So in today's video, I'll be telling you the revision of the chapter functions. I told you in the starting that what actually is the function. When we divide the program into small modules, and every module is capable of performing a specific task, then that module is called as the functions. Now when we deal with the function, we know that the program is divided into small mini functions. Then all those functions should have a communication between them. And that communication is done with the help of the arguments. So with this chapter function, you should be thorough with what actually is the function, what is function definition, what is function calling, what about the arguments, what is called by value, what is called by reference. So all these points you should be thorough with. So once again, children, I'm going to revise it, what is a function. So with the function, you know there are two terms related. That is the definition and the calling. What actually is the function definition? When you define a function by writing the group of statements, those statements which you like the function should perform when it is executed or called, that is called as function definition. Once again, listen to me. Those group of statements which you write inside the function and which you want that they should get executed when the function is called as the function definition. So whenever someone asks you to define a function, it means that you have been asked to write those statements which you want the function should execute when it is called. That is called as function definition. In other words, you can also say that the function definition means that what the function will do when it is called. That is called as function definition. Now you should know what is function calling. Once you have defined the function, now the function should get executed. The function will get executed only when it is called. Until and unless you don't call the function will not get executed. Therefore, you should know that when you should call a function. So calling a function is very important. Because until and unless you will not call the function, even though the function has been defined, but it will not execute. The function will execute only when it is called. So that is the meaning of function calling. Like, for example, you have defined the function to find the sum of two numbers. Good. Now the function knows that how to add the values. But that function will add the value only when it is called. So even though you have defined the function what to do, but if you have not called the function will not execute. So whenever you want the function should get executed, you should call it. And before calling, what you should do? You should get it defined. So first define the function, then you call the function. Correct? When the function is called, the function will execute and will produce some sort of result. That is what we call as the output. So the output of the program depends upon whether the functions of that program has been called or not. As far as the function is concerned, functions are of two types: user-defined function and predefined function. Functions are of two types: user-defined function and predefined functions. User-defined functions are those functions which a user defined by itself, and predefined functions are those which has already been defined and is kept in the library. Those functions which have been already defined and is kept in the library are called as a library function, which we will study in detail in the coming chapter. And the function which you will define by yourself as per your own need, as per your own requirement, that is called as function definition, or you can say that it is a user-defined function. So in case of user-defined function, the function is defined by the user as per its own need and the necessity. But in case of predefined functions, those function has been already defined and is kept in the library. You are just supposed to use it. So this user-defined function, you don't have to define, you just have to use it or you just have to call it. But in case of user-defined function, you have to first define the function, then you are supposed to use it or call it. It is exactly the same as in case of UDF or the user-defined function. It is same as you first make your own dishes and then you eat it. But in case of predefined functions, the dishes you are not supposed to make. Just you get it from the market and then eat it. Like sweets, mithai. Some mithai you will make by yourself and then you can eat it. But some mithai you will get it from the market, just have to use it. So already prepared mithai, already prepared functions are called as predefined function. And if you are going to prepare the function of mithai by yourself, that is called as user-defined function. Okay, now I'm going to take one short example that how to define a function and then how to call it. So with the short example, I'm going to tell you that how to define a function, then how to call it. Take for example, whenever you want to define a function, the function definition starts with the keyword def. Followed by the function name. Suppose the name of the function is add. Followed by parenthesis open and parenthesis close. Followed by colon. This is a colon. This colon tells that afterwards whatever is there, that is the body of the function. Look at this coding. This is the simple code in which I have defined the function to find the sum of two numbers, and then I have called it in the function main. So here you can see that there are two functions. One is the function def, other is the function main. Function def and function main. Two functions are there. So in the function def, what I did, I defined a user-defined function called as add, and that I written those statements which is required to find the sum of two numbers. The first statement x equals to 10, y equals to 20 is input statement, then z equals to x plus y is the process statement, then print z is the output statement. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, these four statements will get executed when the function definition will be called. Now you see the main. In main what I did, I call the function main. In the function main, I call the function add. So this function will execute only when the function add is called. Therefore, this is a calling statement And this whole is the definition. This is the function definition statement. This is a calling statement. The function add has been defined here, and the function add has been called here. Two things happen here. Now what happens? When the program gets executed, what actually happens? The controller will first go to main. In that main, it will first call the function add. When the function add is called, what will happen? The controller will go to the place where the function has been defined. So from here, the controller will go to the function add. And when the function reaches to the function, when the control reaches to the place where the function has been defined, that function gets executed. When the function gets executed, 1, 2, 3, 4. This 4 statement starts executing. So x will be assigned a value 10, y will be assigned a value 20, and this value will be added as per the form formula. So in z now you got the result as 30. So print z on the screen, you will get this result as 30. This is how the program gets executed. Now here you can see that this function add is a non-argumented function. Is a non-argumented function. It means that when the function is called, there is no argument. But if you want, you can give the arguments to the function also. So the same program can be converted into the argumented functions. Now arguments are of two types. The actual arguments and the formal arguments. Actual argument and the formal arguments. In the previous chapter, I have explained all these things in detail. I am just giving you a revision, so I will be fast in this chapter. When you call the function at a time, the argument that you pass are the actual arguments. When you call a function at a time, the argument that you have passed is the actual arguments. And when you define the function at a time, the argument that you have got is the formal argument. So at the time of function calling, the argument that is used is the actual argument. And at the time of function definition, the argument which is used is the formal argument. Now in this case, I can convert the same program into the argumented function program. So in this case, what I will do? I will define this function with two arguments. Suppose x, y. So when this function add has been defined, this will be defined when it will get two arguments from the calling function. Now look at this. Add 10, 200. So this, at the time of calling, I am passing two arguments, 10 and 200. So this 10 and 200 are the actual arguments. So what happens? That these two are the actual values, these values are the actual values which is to be added. What are those values? 10 and 200. So when this function is called, these two arguments have been passed. So this is the actual arguments. Actual arguments. Now when this function is called, this controller will go to the place where it is defined. So this 10 will be stored in x and 200 will be stored in y. This 10 will go in x and 200 will go in y. So the value of x is 10, value of y is 200. So these two are the formal arguments. These two are formal arguments. Formal arguments. In that case, this z will be x plus y. So the value of z will be 30. So this is the same program I have converted into the form of argumented function. And I can say that the function add is an argumented function. And before that it was a non-argumented function. Now one thing more I taught you. About the arguments I told you many things. Student, you revise it from the previous content about the types of arguments. The default arguments, required arguments. Okay, you revise it from the chapter. Now, one more thing is there about the returning statement, return. How the function returns a value. How the function returns a value. Now, suppose I don't want to print the result here. I don't want to print the result here. I want that the result should be returned back from where the function has been called. So in that case, what I'll do? I will make use of a return statement. So I will not print the value here, but I will write here return. Return Z. So this statement return Z will return the value of Z. So instead of printing the value of value of Z in the function definition itself, now the value will not be printed out, it will be returned back from where the control has been, from where the value has been passed. Now, when a function returns a value, what actually happens? When the function returns a value, the return value is returned to the function that has passed it. Therefore, the calling statement from where the value has been passed is replaced by the return value. So this calling statement will be replaced by the return value, and that return value has to be stored somewhere. So I'll write a statement here to store the value. So what it is? Z. So what I've written here? Z equals to add 10, 200. So the return value is stored in Z. So now what you can do? You can print the return value. This is how the function add has returned the value back to the function main. Now the function main has stored the value in the variable Z, and the value of Z will be printed out. So here we'll get the result now. This is how the value is returned. In the case of Python, the function can return more than one value. In that case, you can have more than one variable to store more than one returned value. That thing I have taught you in my class. If you want, you can go through that video and you can learn or you can revise the more about the return statement. So this is how the value is returned from the function. So children, you have seen that what actually is the function, what is function definition, what is function calling, how the argument is passed from one place to another place, what is actual argument, what is formal arguments. Also you have seen about the return, how the function returns a value, and then what happens with the return value. A function can return even a single value at a time. The function can also return more than one value at a time. In that case, we should use the variables that can store more than one values at a time. Okay, so children, this is about the function. Children, revise it in a proper way. Now, in the coming chapter, we'll be studying about the library functions. The library functions and the file handling. So in my next class, I'll start the new chapter, that is the library functions. Okay, children. So till then, you just keep on revising all these things. And if you have any doubts, children, you can call to me, you can ask to me, but do not leave your any problem unsolved. So call to me, get the problem solved, and then go on writing the programs. I've given you some of the programs also as an assignment, children. I'll be checking your copies. I've got only few copies of yours. I'm going to check it now. But most of the copies I have not got for the corrections. So if you have done the written work, children, please submit your copies for the correction so that you may know what mistakes you have done and the mistakes can be rectified. Correct, children? So keep on revising this chapter functions and also the content of class 11, and especially the list, tuples, dictionaries and everything, and the strings. You just keep on revising all these things. All these chapters are very important chapters, children. Especially the strings, the list, the tuples and the dictionaries. These 4 chapters are the backbone of your class 12 syllabus. Keep on revising all these chapters in a proper way, and if you have any doubt, you can ask to me. Now, I'm not going to touch all this chapter again. I'm going to start the new chapter of your class 12 syllabus, that is chapter number 4, which is the library functions. And then after that, I'll start the next chapter, that is chapter number 5, that deals with the file handling. So now I'll be dealing with the coming chapter 10. So children, keep on revising the chapter that I have taught you till now. Good children, good day.